Hello. This lesson is about how to use conjunctions to make your sentences more complete. Hi, this is Nick Farrow with English Discovery, making English learning clearer. Let's go straight to the vocabulary check. Here we are. And remember to pause if you need to use your dictionary. This lesson makes things very simple and I hope easy to understand. But this looks like too much information, and too much information is confusing. So we will go step by step. Okay, let's start. A conjunction is a word to join two parts of a sentence. Let's take an example with and. And here is one with but. Now we have two parts of a sentence joined by a conjunction, and these two parts of the sentence are now called clauses. We have clause 1 and clause 2 joined by a conjunction. But there's the question. What's a clause? Let's have a look. You can see this table. It has words, phrases, clauses, and sentences. Words are easy to understand. They have meanings. They may be verbs, nouns, adjectives, etc. Phrases are two or more words together that still have one meaning. They may be verb phrases, or noun phrases, or various others. Now let's look at the clauses. Can you see the difference between a clause and a sentence? And can you see the difference between a clause and a phrase? Well, a sentence has a subject and a verb. Dogs eat. The old man was eating. That's a noun phrase and a verb phrase. But a clause has a subject and a verb too. Or in this example, a subject and a verb phrase. However, a sentence always begins with a capital letter and it ends with a period or a full stop. Period is American, full stop is British English. These points show us that this is a complete idea. But when you look at the clauses, we see no capital letter and no period, no full stop. The writer does not want to indicate that this is a complete idea. You can easily see this in the first clause because it starts with if. If you pay them, what? The idea is not complete. Well, let's now make everything here into sentences. Looking at words first. Phrases and clauses. And they all become sentences. And they all begin with a capital letter. They all end with a period. Let's move on. And this is the main part of the lesson. There are two main types of sentence made with conjunctions. And in this lesson, we are going to look at the first type. In this type of sentence, there are two clauses, and they are equal in value, equal in level in the sentence. Let's look at three conjunctions that are often used in this pattern. First, we'll focus on and. So you know that the conjunction and is used to make a sentence from two clauses. But it can join much more simple parts of a sentence too. Very simply, it can join two nouns or two verbs. And it can also join other sentence parts, such as adjectives, for example, black and white. But let's make a full sentence with these three phrases. You can easily see the subject, verb, object pattern in this sentence. Next, here is a clause. Oh, now it's a sentence. Here is another sentence. Let's join them together with a conjunction. Now we have a full sentence with and connecting two clauses. This is the basic pattern that we're looking at. Here's one point. In this sentence, you can see the two clauses. Jack cooked dinner and he ate it. Also, in this sentence, it's important to notice that the first clause begins with Jack, but the second one begins with he, the pronoun for Jack. In the same way, the object, dinner, becomes the pronoun it in the second clause. And this is a natural way of writing and speaking in English, to use pronouns when it's clear and easy to understand. Okay, now let's focus on or. Or can also join nouns in a subject or nouns in an object. And or can also be used to choose between two verbs. Also, like and, or can join two clauses to make a sentence. Here's another example. And when we join two clauses, it's normal to add a comma before the conjunction. I say normal because the grammar rules about commas are not always very clear, and different teachers and experts don't agree. But generally, I think this is safe to say, put a comma before or but. Now let's focus on but. In many cases, we use but to join two clauses which are in contrast. Look at the examples. It's also possible in some cases to join words, such as adjectives. Please notice that we usually put a comma before the conjunction, as I mentioned before. This is the same as or, but it's not the same as and, which usually does not need a comma. Next comes an important rule. And but are conjunctions, and they should come between two clauses to make one sentence. So do not try to join two sentences using and or but with capital letters. You may see it sometimes in writing. For you, it's not a safe choice when you're writing. So please never start a sentence with and or but. And this rule is also true for or. Okay, we are nearly finished. Let's do a short exercise to practice what we have studied. Look at all the sentences and choose the correct conjunction to complete the sentences correctly. And please pause the video until you are ready to see the answers. Okay, now you can check your answers. Most of them are very clear. Again, pause the video to check them through. You may notice with number 4, well, it would be possible to say but instead of and in this case. The nuance or the meaning of the sentence would change a little, but the grammar is still okay. Okay, first point. Please just try to remember this. Sometimes it makes reading easier. Here's an example. I wanted to buy some food, but the shop was closed. It's easier to hear when somebody's reading it. Next point, the examples we have used in this lesson all have the conjunctions between the two clauses, like this one. But many sentences begin with a conjunction, and there's a comma between the two clauses. We will study this pattern in the second lesson, but be careful, it's not so good to begin a sentence with and or but, as we said before. Don't use too many conjunctions in one sentence. One conjunction is always safe, and maybe two are okay. But this example has too many conjunctions, and it's difficult to read. If you write short and simple sentences, you will not make so many mistakes. Well done. You have survived one more of my lessons. Please write a comment or question. Very simple English is okay. Like and subscribe, of course. And look for the next video, which will give you more power in your sentence writing.